Guys, back at it again with the messed up hair because I just took a nap, whatever you will call it. But guys, so I want to talk about just different ways to think differently from everyone else, and people are going to think you weird. You know, some people even accuse me of doing drugs because I'm not normal, right? So here is some ways to think differently. Number one, right? Most people my age, right, if you're young, 18, 17, teenage years, early 20s, you're going to notice that all your friends, most of your friends are only worried about one thing. They're worried about what girl they're going to crack, who they're going to talk to, and this job, right? This basic job that they're working at to help them get money to do what? What are they funding the money with, right? And see, this is what's going to separate you from everyone else because everyone else are losers, right? Losers. Look, obviously, I'm not rich yet or successful yet, right? But obviously, I have a mindset that is different from everyone else. It's not about, because, right? I remember I got into arguing with one of my very close friends, right? He was like, you have the resources, right? Which I thought was crazy because in order to get resources, you need a process, right? You need to have to go through a process to obtain resources. And I was telling him, like, what do you mean by that, right? Because this is how you can tell, like, to separate you from other people, right? You gotta notice the subtle jokes that they do. Like, oh, like, ha ha ha, like I would have did this, blah, blah, blah. Are they really joking or are they hating? Right? Because subtle hate and you know what I'm saying, what's that shit? What's that word? Subliminal hate, right? They joke with you. Like your close friends would be joking with you, right? You tell them like, oh, I got this new car or some shit. And they like, oh man, you should have got that car. Ha ha ha. Oh man, I was just joking. Nigga, no, you wasn't just joking. You were hating, right? And see, it's most people, right? They're not gonna detect like when to get somebody away from you or when to know when someone's hating, right? So like, for instance, you're talking to your friends and all they do is talk about women, and then you ask them like something, you talk to them about like the real world, and then they're stuck. They have no like answer. You want to know why? It's because people have been programmed to think lowly at a certain age, right? So if you're 17, 16, 18, they think that it's okay and obvious that you're going to make mistakes because the most people our age make mistakes. But I want your mistakes to be differently. You don't have to make the obvious same average ass mistakes that everyone else makes. You can make your own mistakes. Like for example, me trying to start a Shopify business, right? And I bought some stupid shit way in China, and I tried to get a refund. I obviously knew nothing about it, right? And I just was so bored and hungry to just do it, and I didn't even have no money. And guess what? I couldn't get a refund. No, I didn't even touch the process. I don't even know why I tried to do a dropshipping business, right? That is the type of mistake that you want, right? And parents have a very bad thing of like, oh, I did this as a kid, so you're doing this, which is very wrong because your mistakes can be differently. You can make educated mistakes. No mistake, right? Like millionaires say, everyone has to make mistakes, right? So you don't want to be the one that shot 6 people and then like, oh, you're in jail, I made that mistake. No, you want to be the guy that like, oh, I tried to do this and I failed, right? So obviously, right, that is my mistake. Okay, you don't want to be the guy that's always talking about women because what happens is this: every time, right? An older person would tell me, someone like, "Oh, don't worry about talking to women. Don't worry, I did this," and you wasted your time, right? Because you made the same average ass mistakes everyone else makes, which is makes you a loser. Who wants to be a loser, right? That is trash, right? So you need to think differently, number one, right? So when you talk to your friends, you need to make them hold themselves at a higher value because when you're only talking about women and instant gratification, you hold yourself very, very low. You're a low level human, which is sad, right? Who wants to be a low level human? I don't, right? I'm what you would call in between the middle, right? Because I have the mindset, right? But you can have a mindset, right? You can have a mind state, but you have to be able to execute it. So right now I'm right here, right? But I can instantly go right here and I can instantly go up here. It's in between, right? But in between is not good enough. You want to be up here, right? Now I look at everyone that thinks the same as low because it's sad, right? For example, right, you can hear a 40-year-old talk, right? Just because they're 40 years old, they're supposed to have all this wisdom, but they can be making the same exact mistakes as an 18-year-old boy is making right now. I know grown people right now that have the same conversations as I have with some of my friends where we're joking and laughing. How is that elevation, right? And then you look at them and they always judging everybody else because of their age and seniority, but their life is terrible. They're like in a bubble, which is sad, and you need to break out of that bubble. And obviously, right, People, right? They be like, oh, I read this millionaire book and this book to help me get rich, rich boy, poor dad, and then they're still broke, right? What does that tell you? Everyone reads those books. Everyone reads those books. Information is everywhere. Everyone reads those types of books. When you notice that everyone is hard, or commodity, for example, right? When everybody is doing something, it is hard to break out of it, right? So when everyone is just, oh, I read this book and you should get it. You should get it. Why am I getting it? Why did you get it? See, I don't really follow trends, right? No, I make my own trends. I'm me, Z Money, right? So what made you start reading that book? Oh, I just want to learn it. What is your life right now? How are you living, right? So obviously, right, for Christmas, right, I decided my 17-year Christmas, right, I'm going to do something completely different. I didn't eat shit on Christmas. I didn't get shit. I didn't ask for nothing, right? Guess what? I will never forget how it feels to be hungry on Christmas. You want to know why? Because when I was going down my Instagram feed, I saw everyone with their family, everyone partying, everyone having a great time. You know what I was doing? Hungry as shit. By choice. I could have got some food. I'm not saying that I didn't. No, I wanted to train myself and to be like that. And guess what? People will start to accuse you of doing drugs. I know someone that literally accused me of doing drugs because of how differently I am, right? Which is fine. I train myself to get up every morning, even though they will wake me up in the morning. I train myself to get up every single morning. And now I take naps. I can't sleep. Sleep is like a rare thing for me. It's hard. I'll always wake up out of my sleep because I want to do something, right? So the world, right? It's like, everyone is like losers. It's sad. Like, I'm like, bro, like, why are you talking? Like, why do you care? Like, for example, right? We can talk about the bad stuff, right? The stuff that I say you want to avoid, right? We could talk about women. Ask them why do they like thick girls, right? Now, it comes with body types, right? You can be a little short ass. I'm a short person, obviously, so I don't want no big ass thick girl. So I asked one of my friends, like, why do you want a thick girl? What made you think that way? Because everyone likes the fat butt. Everyone, why? You need to, like, people are like lost. They don't even know why they think a certain way. You want to know why? Because they've been programmed. Everyone's been programmed to think lowly, which is very upsetting. I obviously, right, I do hold myself at a higher standard. In order to get better, you have to hold yourself up here. So I have nothing right now, and I hold myself up here, and I look at everyone that thinks the same way as low because they're never going to ever elevate. Elevation is a very important word. I can have a conversation with someone that's older than me, right? And they'll be like, how old are you? I just turned 18, but I used to tell them, oh, 17 years old. And they'd be like, what? You wanna know why? Because I'm thinking, like, I don't think like everyone else. And I just hate it. Even when, like, girls, like, girlfriend, for example, people make jokes and they talk to you and, like, they call me a nigga. I'm like, why are you calling me a nigga? Like, obviously, I'm different, right? Now, it's hard to prove that because everyone, like I said, thinks at a very low, slow level, which is pathetic. It's very pathetic. Everyone needs to hold themselves at a higher standard. And that's why when I talk to people, one of my very close, very close friends, we just had a conversation today. We literally can call me, right? And we can have a whole live conversation, and he teaching me something, and I'm teaching him something. We're laughing. We're not really talking about women. We don't talk about that. You want to know why? Because that is energy wasting. What do women want from you? Most women that when you're just talking and dating, what do they want? They want time. They want money, right? You might not have all that, right? And you're making this image to look like you have that. And then you think you're cool because you have all these women, when honestly, it's sad, right? Because the rappers have everyone fooled, right? Everyone follows trends, which makes it easier to be programmed. It's easier to it's easier to be on the internet, right, and see propaganda, because literally social media is like propaganda. Like, only certain people go to Instagram and learn, right? You might go to someone's Instagram and just see a bunch of women. I used to be like that. You go to Instagram and all you see is women. Like, what the fuck is that? Pictures that you posted to look cool. What the fuck is that, right? You see people throwing up gang signs. Why did they join the gang? Only some people really grew up there, right? I know people that grew up in a whole different city, now they're gangbanging now because they met certain people, which is basically following trends. You don't need the internet to follow trends. A trend can be someone that you look up to, in my opinion. That is my definition of it. So obviously, right, I just think that you need to stay away from people that always, like, you need to check your friends. You don't have to stay away from, you need to start making them think differently. Like, why are you only talking about women? What is your brain? I know we're teenagers and I know that it's very common, but what is in your brain? What is, like, are you serious? College. Why are they going to college? What made them want to go to college? Because some grown people, then they never research it. Why do you want to go to college? You have a plan? You know what I'm saying? You need to start asking people why. Because literally no one has their own brain. I can get into an argument with somebody right now and they'll literally be stuck. Most grown people can't get into arguments with me because I'm what you would call a disabler. I'm going to disable you. I'm not, just because I'm young doesn't mean that I'm stupid. You can be 50 years old and think very low level, right? It takes them 30 years, 25 years of mistakes to get to think how I think. It's pathetic, right? So imagine where I'm going to hold myself 25 years from now. My dad is very smart, for example, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So you guys just need to start asking motherfuckers, why do you think this way? It's sad. It's pathetic. You're a loser. You have no brain for yourself. TikTok, right? I don't really use TikTok, but I'm going to start using it to promote my YouTube and brand, whatever you want to call it, right? Because I want to excel. But for example, everyone's on TikTok. What is on their feed? Why are you on it? What does it help you with? To help you follow a new trend, to laugh, for entertainment? Very pathetic. It's sad, right? So you guys just need to, I know I kind of just started rambling about, I had an idea and I lost it. Because it's just pathetic. I just took a nap, you know what I'm saying? I watched a very important video and I just thought like, wow, people are truly sad. It's pathetic. No one works on themselves. No one has the brain for themselves. Everyone expects to go with the flow and someone's going to save them or life is just going to, they don't believe in process. They don't believe in process and gaining resources. They think resources are just going to come to them. I never asked any, look, I know people that's very successful right now and I have not went to their DM asking them for help. At all. Because look, not only am I a very prideful person, right? I understand the psychological effect help has, right? Because obviously to me, if I have to go ask you for help, I'm obviously weaker than you. You have a higher position than me right now, right? I want to be able to equal out the value somehow, some way, so that when I do ask you for help, I am also beneficial. You know what I'm saying? I don't just look for handouts. I don't look for God's saving grace, okay? That's not how life works. I learned that at a young age. No one is going to help you. You could be depressed right now and no one's going to give a fuck. I can kill myself right now. There's only a few people going to give a fuck. You know why? What? Family? But the whole world is not going to, the world is not going to stop for you. So everyone is living in a fake reality, which is sad and it needs to be rectified. And that's why I'm going to be on YouTube. That's all. Yeah.